know how it works.
No, you can do it. You should, it says you're live on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. It says meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
All right. Well, maybe we are live in the Facebook world.
Let's say live on Facebook right up there.
There we are. Yes,
cool.
we're live.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, hey, this is the Stay Classy Albuquerque Happy Hour. Got some special guests here. Got Lee Smith and Mon Fawn with Primary Residential Mortgage here to talk about anything mortgages, anything real estate related. And also I have Christy Valdez, who's also with her group Albuquerque, in the form of our operations coordinator as well. So anyways, how you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Not as good as mine.
A beer here.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I appreciate that. Taking some time out, and hopefully we can have a little bit of fun out there. Hopefully a lot of people can tune in and join us and ask away, ask some questions. There is a Zoom link in the comments section if you want to join in into our Zoom chat room as well. So feel free to join us if you want to talk with us directly. I got one of my favorite beverages. It's the from Santa Fe Brewing. It's an IPA. I know I'm phasing out with my background, but it's one of my favorites. I'm more of an IPA fan. I like the way it tastes. How about you guys? What did you guys grab?
Well, the second thing is Modelo.
I have this Prescribed Burn. It's a chili beer from Steamworks in Durango, and this was given to me as a gift by actually a client that Sean had sent over to me that that I got to work with for a little while, and but it's one of my favorite beers. I like those chili beers, and this one actually has a little kick to it. Pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, are you more of a Mexican beer drinker, Lon?
I am. Tecate's really. It's my go-to. The cheap beers.
Nice. Yeah.
I like Modelo's too. I think Modelo is probably one of my favorite beers.
With lime or without lime?
I do without lime.
I like it with the lime and everything. Do it up. Lime and salt, everything. Yeah, why not?
Hi, Carrie.
Hello.
She's muted.
It's all good. Well, hi, Carrie. Hopefully you got your drink of choice.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, everybody.
You have to grace us with your awesome presence, though, and show us your favorite drink.
You talking to me?
I am talking to you.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
I have my volume too low.
You're coming in. You're coming in for it. So for those that are tuning in, you can join into our Zoom conference, into our Zoom room. It's the Zoom link is in the comments. So a lot of things are going on right now. It's kind of a crazy market in the form of never before. Everybody's mostly working from home unless you're essential. Luckily, real estate's considered essential, and so homes are selling and moving right now. So we're pretty excited about that. There's still people looking to take advantage of low interest rates, it seems like the inventory is still moving at a pretty good pace. What are you guys seeing out there in the marketplace today?
Lee, you want to take that?
Yeah. So definitely, I think overall industry-wide, we're seeing app counts down a little bit, but I feel like it's been really busy. I know me personally, I still see there's a lot of refis, a lot of refi opportunities, a lot of people calling to get refied. But there's still purchases. I've got a couple contracts this week, so there's still a lot of movement in the marketplace. But I think overall industry-wide, I've heard and read that app counts are down. Lon, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's nationwide. The app counts picked up just because of refinance opportunities, and so it created a huge influx of volume in March, right? Late March or mid March, all the way up to now. But at the same time, it's kind of created a double whammy for us, though, because now you're looking at capacity. Human capital is getting stretched a little thin. So if there is opportunities for purchase business, you're seeing across the board. Sometimes you may be experiencing delayed appraisals, delayed turn times on underwriting. It's just because everyone's been so busy with the refis. Of course, it put a stretch, or it kind of thinned out a little bit too on the liquidity aspect of it for the mortgage side. So there's a lot of mortgage situations you hear. And of course, there's a lot of rumors too. I mean, some things that we probably would touch base on is you hear some companies mentioning that there's no MFA loans. It's not true. I think that's just a conversation that came through that just because one lender's not doing it doesn't mean that there's no MFA loans. So those are rumors, but there are some lenders that are not doing MFA loans because of some liquidity issues. And companies are tightening up. I think there's not one company out there that's not affected by what's going on.
Mhm.
But as far as volume, we're still seeing quite a bit of volume. Purchase environment dropped off a little bit. I think that's just natural when you're seeing the whole nation locked down. New Mexico's been locked down for close to 30 days now, and we're slowly seeing it. Of course, guidelines and investor guidelines has tightened up a little bit. So if you have clients that are going to closing, then they might not be able to close because they just lost their job or got furloughed. So there's a lot of things going on, but for all in all, hopefully this is just a short run and we'll go back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing out there is I think new under contracts maybe down anywhere from 5 to 8%. Something we've been kind of watching week to week. I've been sharing as a team out to our social media channels and in conversations I'm having with clients is that there's definitely a little bit of drop off. There's on the listing side, what people don't realize is our inventory is also still shrinking because sellers are choosing not to put their homes up on the market, especially if they're occupying the house. They don't want to necessarily expose themselves to having people run through their property. And so like us as brokers, Matt Barron on our team is here in the chat as well. You could attest to it. Welcome, Matt. Hopefully you don't have your favorite beverage with you because that would be drinking and driving.
No.
However, we're doing virtual tours. We're even doing tours for our buyers right now. I know that Matt's done that a couple of times. So, as we see less homes go under contract, which is really not that much of a drop off, we're also seeing less homes come up on the market. So that's putting the same kind of strain that we had going into the coronavirus market, if you want to call it that, that we're seeing now. So there's still the same lack of inventory out there that we had previously. What are rates at currently for conventional, for VA, and for FHA?
Oh, they're great right now. I mean, refi purchase, they're really low, still really low. FHA, I was quoting, I think one last night at 3 and 1/8. So, for an FHA loan that I was doing a refi on. Conventional purchases sitting at 3.375, 3 1/4, right in there. Is that what you're seeing, Len? About the same?
Yeah, I mean, 0 points depending on the loan size, but I just did one for 400 and that was right at 3% with I think an 1/8 of a point in discount. I think actually Govey's on purchase, depending on loan size, you can be right under 3%.
You can, yeah. I think I saw one at 2.875 on a VA. It was a pretty large VA, and it was under 3.
Wow, 2.75.
2.875, yeah, 2 and 7/8.
And all our veterans out there, it's a good time to jump on that. If you're not
Absolutely
buying as a veteran,
whether it's a purchase or a VA IRRRL, the VA IRRRLs are really good. They're no appraisal, you don't have to requalify, so those are really good loans.
what
Good
if you're
opportunities there.
if you're going to refi a VA loan, what would that interest rate be, and what loan to value are you allowed to take?
If
So it depends on. Go ahead, Len.
If it's a rate and term loan and they had a prior VA loan, they don't really care what the loan to value is going to be because you're not going to order a new appraisal.
Oh, wow.
So you're just going to do a rate reduction loan. And a rate reduction loan, depending if you have any services related disability, you have 10% or more, the VA waives the funding fee of 50 bips.
Okay.
But if you don't, it's still only 50 bips. But the rates are just ridiculous and slow. The government loans, again, those are things that, depending on who you talk to, what time you talk to, the rates are all over the place. I've been in this business for going on 17 years and never seen anything like this. We had a period where refinances were locking in right under 3%. Like a week later, we're at 4.5%. I mean, it's just, again, now it's settling down a little bit again. But there's craziness that's going on. So I definitely want to put a disclosure out there. It just depends on your situation and your credit scores. But there's an opportunity. If you are a veteran that needs to refinance, now's the time to do it. It's just
What's the rules on cash out? Like if you want to pull cash out of your property to refinance, what are you allowed to do, not allowed to do?
the VA rules changed a little bit last year. Actually, changed quite a bit. You can go up to 90% loan to value on a VA cash out. And really, there's not much capacity outside of that you really or much concerns outside of that. If you go over 90%, there's a lot of stipulations and there's a lot of pricing adjustments. I'll be honest, it's probably even worth it right now with the way the pricing adjustments are hitting over 90% on a VA cash out. But if you're under 90%, it's still well worth it. Pricing are pretty aggressive.
The FHA and conventional, cash out options on those, you're going to be, up to 80% loan to value on those. So you don't stay below 80% loan to value. So 80% of the appraised value of the house is the maximum that you can pull out after you pay off your current mortgage.
Gotcha. Awesome. So what do you see the impact with forbearance as people are choosing to forbear their loan and the fact that the government is allowing that they're giving some forgiveness for that? What would you do? What would you say to somebody who's considering doing that with their mortgage? Like what the impact is, and then how is that going to impact your guys' industry as a whole and your ability to lend?
Yeah, I would say to be real careful with that, and definitely talk to your lender and make sure that you understand what it entails. So what it is they're allowing borrowers who are in hardship to forego their payments for up to 6 months, I think it is. But there's a catch to that at the end of that period, these payments aren't getting tacked onto the back end. They're actually due at the end of that 6 month period. So they're calling that due then. So it's not as clean as it sounds, I guess.
So if you go like 2 months, you didn't make your payment, and then then you're able to get back on track, but you didn't pay those 2 payments back. They're due in 6 months.
They're due at the end of that period that you have the forbearance. Yeah, not at a lot of people think it's going to get tacked onto the back end of the mortgage, and that's not,
I didn't know that.
The case. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So I don't know if it's all it's cracked up to be, because then all of a sudden 6 months, if you're not making your payments, and now all of a sudden you got a big chunk due to the mortgage company. I'm not really sure what those companies are going to do if those borrowers can't make that payment then,
I have a question regarding that too. So if you do, apply for the forbearance with the understanding that you have to pay 3 months or 6 months, whatever it is, how does that affect any sort of refinancing or possibly getting another loan?
It's actually very difficult. I can tell you with our company, if you're on a forbearance program, we're not going to allow the refinance option right now.
Right.
Products. And so it can hinder yourself financially. I would say if you're on the verge of doing it, you need to do it, do so. But if you can make your mortgage payment, make your mortgage payment. It's one of those catch-22 view. You put yourself in a bad spot if you do it or if you don't do it. I think it's so you have to really weigh your financial situation. Just to answer Sean's second half of that question, is how's the impact? It's going to impact lenders. Lenders are pricing it into their models right now. You see a lot of lenders putting interest rate caps, credit score caps, Wells Fargo, one of the largest servicers out there, put a 680 credit score minimum for govies. The reason why, and the pricing is ridiculous. So there's again, I won't name all the names out there, but that's a big one that came out in the news. But there's a lot of lenders in town. So everyone's kind of pricing into risk. And so it is going to put a negative impact because they're all pricing it in that the fact is they might take a lot of forbearances that they're going to deal with. So lenders are going to price it in. Unfortunately, when this happens, it affects everyone. And so we're already seeing it. Yeah. We're impacted by it. I don't think there's a lender out there that's not impacted by it.
What do you think as we move into May and it's pretty clear on what the percentage of people have forbeared a loan or they didn't make their mortgage payment, now they're 30 days late? What do you see the industry as a whole? What do you think, what the ramifications of that's going to be?
You talking like a percentage wise?
Yeah, well, not even necessarily percentage wise, we all know that it's going to happen. There's going to be some, it's, how big that number is, I don't think anybody can really predict. But what do you think as they get an idea how many people are defaulting on their mortgages or choosing to forbear their mortgage? What do you think you're going to see moving forward, like in the months of May and June, which are typically our selling seasons?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to make it harder as you see if the numbers continue to rise. You're going to see less government loans going through our pipelines because it's going to be more difficult. Lenders are going to put stiffer guidelines in place just to do a loan for a government loan. I mean, there's a lot of lenders that are not even doing VA loans right now. Pretty much, I know from my understanding, the majority of lenders out there had already put credit score requirements or at least a higher credit score requirements on FHA loans. And so, yeah, as the number increases, you're going to see that risk adjustment kind of increase with each lender because they don't want to, I mean, the likelihood of those type of loans when there's very little down, when they're putting 3.5% down, you're willing to probably give up that amount a lot easier than you are on a 20% credit requirements or at least a higher credit score. The risk are pricing. And so, yeah, as the number increases, you're going to see that risk adjustment increase with each lender. Because they don't want to, I mean, the likelihood of those type of loans when there's very little down, they're putting 3.5% down, you're willing to probably give up that amount a lot easier than you are on a 20% credit score.
Okay.
So higher the risk are pricing. And so, yeah, as the number increases, you're going to see that risk adjustment.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little bit of conflict with my Facebook Live and Facebook itself. So, anyways, can you guys hear that in the background?
The feedback you're getting? Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm a
I'm
newbie to Facebook Live via Zoom. So everybody that's chiming in right now, I apologize. I clicked on something.
And I was all, didn't
There
I
we
just
go.
say that?
Is that better?
Yeah.
I think it's better now. All right.
But you are going
That
to
was
see.
fun. I think we need to shift gears. Or have another beer. Either
Or a
or.
shot.
Those two.
Have a shot.
Awesome. No, I think that's really good information, Mon. I mean, it's what people don't realize is that like you said, like lenders are kind of slowing down to kind of see how bad the impact's going to be, and then that really tightens up the amount of funds that are available for the consumer, right?
Well, it tightens up their overall. It's going to tighten up, what their guidelines are going to be. They're not willing to take as much risk if people are going to be defaulting, first payment default, whatever it is. You're just, they really have to do it. Like Mom was saying, if you have someone who has, with a VA, it's 100% financing, right? So 0 down. With an FHA, it's 3.5% down. So there's a very little skin in the game in those types of loans. And usually those credit score requirements on those loans are much lower in a normal market, but in the market we're in now, where we have a lot of these other things happening, people losing their jobs, opportunities to not make your payment, then things start to tighten up a little bit, a lot of it, really.
Sean, just to kind of give you some ideas, if you noticed a lot of niche products, jumbos, physician loans, or construction lending, those are tough to find right now. Those are tough loans right now.
Yeah, you're not going to find too many of those. A lot of those lenders are on hold right now until we can get through this,
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's the one thing I've heard, like with jumbos, like, I mean, you have to be super clean, probably pretty good, fair amount of money down in order to really get access to that type of product, right?
Well, I think even in a normal market, that's the case, right? But now even more so, I mean, you almost can't even find a lender who's willing to even do a jumbo loan. A lot of that money is not available right now.
So what would you say, like I had a client that needed a jumbo loan. What advice would you give the realtor? I mean, is real estate contracts really our only option, or is there private lending sources out there that are available that we're not?
No, I do a combo loan. I mean, I think the combo loans are still very valid. There's a couple of companies in town that you can actually do a conventional 510 and then do a second, unless you're going into the above $1 million price range. Then I hate to say there's not a lot of options right now.
Okay.
But under $1 million, you can still find options. You can do a 510 first, and then on a second, you can probably get a $400,000 second just to get through this phase. but the prices I've seen on those seconds, because there's some lenders in town they're not getting impacted as much from the liquidity because they're not lending in the traditional mortgage cycle. So they're still financing their seconds. I mean, some of the credit unions are still doing it. So you can still get those seconds in place. But yeah, if anyone's really interested, feel free to have them reach out to me, lenders or anyone. I can probably lead them in the right direction for that second.
Okay. That's awesome. Appreciate that for sure. So we'll switch gears up. So we'll start with Mon, since he's got a beach scene behind town. It's obviously feeling like he wishes he could go to the beach right about now. Where was that picture taken? That video?
Actually, I have no idea. I just pulled it off a Zoom website.
Oh, nice. I assume it was like you and your family, like those were your kids in the background.
We're not practicing
Like
social
playing
distancing back there.
Social distancing, people.
Looks like Florida. It looks like a Florida beach maybe to me.
You don't see me with a camera very often when I'm on vacation. So.
Just enjoying the moment. That's
Just a
good.
beer.
If you guys could go anywhere right now for vacation, like the quarantine is lifted, where are you going? Like where's the first vacation that you're gonna
I
take?
think I'll hit the beach, to be honest with you. I think
Yeah.
Newport or something like that. Actually, we had a vacation scheduled in April that we canceled. We're planning to go for a couple of weeks and stay in Newport Beach just for a couple of weeks and hang out with the family. But unfortunately, all this came on board, you know.
Is that like a spring break
Barbara
trip?
and I were thinking Cabo is where we wanted to go. We were supposed to go in, I think we were thinking of trying to go in May or June. So when this is all lifted, we'll probably try to do the Cabo trip that we've been planning for a couple of years now.
Yeah, we usually go to San Diego a lot. That's kind of our family spot to go to, like either Solano Beach or Del Mar areas where we usually like to go. You know, I hear you can get really good flights right now. Like I actually got an email from Southwest. It's like $49 one way, like crazy.
Look ahead. Look and plan ahead. I actually wouldn't mind going to Vegas right now. I kind of miss going to Vegas. I usually try to go a couple times a year and haven't even been able to do that. So.
Is the strip still closed down?
Closed down, yep.
Yeah.
We're talking about May 1st, maybe trying to open back up again. So we'll see.
What about you, Chrissy? Where would you go? Where's
An
your vacation?
all-inclusive resort where someone would bring me umbrella drinks and I wouldn't have to do anything.
There you go.
Unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited. Yes, I like that. Yeah, you know, no work, no children. Not that they're that bad, but
This isn't a family all-inclusive. This is just adults.
no, adults only.
How about you, Carrie? Where are you going? Are you still there?
Going, you know,
Where you going?
I'm going to the beach. Going to
Yeah.
the beach in Florida.
Everybody's
Same
going
with
to-
Christy. No kids, although mine are grown, but
Carrie and I will go together.
yeah, if I ever have an opportunity, I go to the beach. That's my thing.
Beach life.
And it's about time.
So are the beaches closed? Like I remember seeing pictures of California, like it was like the first, few weeks, and then of course Florida got really bad publicity for
Spring
their
break.
beaches. So is everybody closed now on the beachfront?
I've heard they are, yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard
that's
that.
what I've heard too.
I don't know. I've not been to the beach. We don't have beaches.
Although I was watching the news or something, and I think it was Hawaii, and they said that the surfers were still allowed to surf because of the distance their boards created between them or something silly like that. And they showed,
That makes sense.
Interesting.
I don't know,
That makes a lot of sense to me.
I guess, until you get off and then go lay on the beach with your boards next to each other. Look good to me.
What are your guys' favorite activities right now? What are you guys doing? I mean, obviously, like everything's pretty much closed down, right? Like restaurants, movie theaters, like really cool. There's no concerts, sporting events. What are you guys doing right now for fun?
I'm trying to get out a little bit more as far as like running and getting back into the outdoors stuff, running, biking, that kind of stuff. So I guess that's the only kind of fun stuff I'm doing. Yeah.
What about you, Mon? What are you doing?
It hasn't really changed my routine much, which is pretty sad. I just
That is
work.
kind of sad.
Mine either. Mine
All
either.
work, no play makes Johnny a dull boy.
I can't say it's changed my routine a lot outside of going out and I mean, I hate to go to restaurants to eat because I hate standing in line. So it hasn't really changed my routine much. You know, outside of me traveling, that's the only, I mean, a heartache I have.
Yeah.
It really hasn't changed my daily routine.
So,
What are you
What
doing,
about you,
Sean?
Sean?
What are you doing for fun?
so actually what I decided to do, like I was running a lot, and then I kind of, my heel and my foot was kind of messed up. So I decided to go buy a mountain bike. I live kind of up in the foothills of mountains. And so I decided to get a mountain bike. I've been doing that. And didn't realize how not in shape my legs are. I thought running, like, oh yeah, it should be a pretty easy transition. No, it's riding uphill is definitely a good workout.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. Once you get up there,
Is it fun?
the trails and you know, and riding back down is a lot of fun. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And we decided to open our pool early, even though we just had snow this week, but we decided to open our pool early just to kind of give the kids something to do. And you know, our hot tub kind of works with that. So it's, you know, something to kind of relax, just spending time at home, watching Netflix, and HBO, and yeah.
Netflix stock was way up this, their earnings was way up this week. So
Sure.
Membership's going to be up huge. I think HBO for the month of April, HBO Go is free.
Is it?
It is.
So
Yeah.
if anybody does not know that, go set that up, because that's pretty
Well,
cool.
we only got 2 more weeks left, but still, we can get a lot of movies in.
Well, they have good
I'm
series.
binging Westworld right now.
Are you?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What season are you on?
Just the first one. I'm almost done with the first season. So
Okay.
yeah.
I watched the first season. I just couldn't. I don't know. It just didn't click with me. It was a little much.
Yeah.
Never watched it.
It was a little much. I decided to rewatch Entourage. That's what I've been up to.
Oh, there you go.
Never
I
seen
binge watched Entourage.
it. I've never seen that.
What else is anybody watching? What do you watch, Mon? You have to watch something.
I do. It takes me like 3 days to watch one episode. I always fall asleep. Takes me a long time to watch anything. Really.
What are you watching?
I was watching, what's the Netflix documentary that is it Tiger King?
Oh
Oh
God.
yeah, Tiger King.
That's,
No. Did you know you can do Tiger King on your background? You can just go put a picture and you can have that.
I got through Tiger King. That was pretty. That was different. Holy cow.
I've
I
only
didn't
seen one
realize-
episode.
I didn't realize how many tigers there are. Like, I didn't realize how big that trade was. They were at the end of that, not to spoil alert anybody, but they're saying there's like 4,000 tigers in the wild, and there's like anywhere between 5,000 and 8,000 tigers in captivity.
Yeah, they're more in captivity.
Wow.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
crazy.
And I hate to be in that neighborhood where a tiger gets loose.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have a map of all the tiger owners, so you know where that house is.
Yeah.
So you don't.
Where not to buy.
Well, there's like a
Or
scene there where they talk like these jaguars get out in the neighborhood and like attack somebody.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so it was pretty scary. So do you think that lady killed her husband?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Carol
yeah.
Baskin?
Karen Baskins, yeah.
For sure. For sure.
I've only seen one episode, but I've seen a bajillion memes and other things. So I kind of know what's happening.
So she did it. Okay.
There's no doubt.
Louis
we gotta-
connecting.
So we actually got a question from it's actually one of my best friends from high school, Dan Roundtree. He says, "I'm late to the game. What are you seeing delaying closings across the market?" I think it definitely depends on where you are. Like being a part of an expansion team, we're in 24 different locations. Like if you're in Vermont or New York State, I mean, obviously they're having a very difficult time getting things closed. I know that they are doing some, they approved, what's up, Louis? They approved, in some states, they approved electronic notary, which is really cool. But in the state of New Mexico, closings are happening. Some of them are happening on time. There's some delays, right? Like, what's changed with your guys' loan process? Have you seen a lot of, I'm sure you have to do verification of employments a lot more frequently now. And
Yeah, the biggest thing that we're seeing is like at the very, getting verification of employments and pay stubs up until the very end. Normally, in a normal market, as long as our pay stubs are, no more than 30 days old, we can roll with it, But now we're needing pay stubs, you know, the last pay stub they have, the last pay stub they received right before closing, you know, so that's one of the things.
Okay.
And with the VOEs, that gets a little bit, you know, that can be a little difficult considering that a lot of, you know, employees are working from home, you know, and so it's not,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
as fast as it normally is. You know, you don't have someone sitting in an office and are ready to roll.
Self-employed is a big issue right now. A lot of the companies, a lot of small businesses are shut down.
Yeah.
So that's
And Lee, that's Lee.
It's causing problems.
You had a question, Louis?
Yeah, just that's what I experienced with Lee. Just that Los on the closing with Los Crisantemos. Just we needed those pay stubs, and that kind of held things back. I mean, it was a little bit my fault, my clients, but just that kind of slowed us down a little bit.
I had to get it at the very end, you know, and so.
Yeah, what I've explained to a lot of clients, like just set the expectations, like whether it's my seller or buyers. Hey, look, most people are working from home. There's been some companies that have had to lay off people. And so things are just going to be a little bit slower. So it's one of those things where you just have to have the understanding that it's not going to be as fast as it was before.
Right.
We're operating in a little bit slower speed. So it's definitely one of those things that everybody just has to be kind of prepared for. Like, 30-day closings are probably pretty tough unless it's cash. But it's, probably looking at more like 45 or 50 days on the closing timeline. Hey, Louis, if you don't mind, mute yourself, buddy. You got some background.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you, bud.
Even with
Appreciate it.
appraisals, we've seen delays there because I mean, it's kind of like a perfect storm. We had, the extreme volume with all the refis and the rates going down, and so, huge volume, and then of course with the COVID and quarantine and that, you started running into appraisers taking, not accepting orders, and appraisal companies having to offer more just to get them to accept an order. And then I would have, appraisers falling out because they just didn't want to go out to the property due to the COVID, so we'd have to start all over again and try to find an appraiser. So you run into to delays there, just trying to find an appraiser to go out to a property.
I've actually heard that. I actually had a broker today just tell me that they are having an appraisal issue just for that very reason of wanting to go inside of a property. Mm-hmm. What could you do? I mean, are they open to if you take photos? I mean, the only reason why they're really going in is to take photos, right? Like,
well, the nice thing is that we're starting to see a little bit more of this, and Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA even has put out some guidance where they're being a little bit more lenient, where you can do desktop appraisals, or we can get PIWs, property inspection waivers. That seems like we're seeing more and more of those. Exterior only appraisals, we're seeing a little bit more of that. And they built that into their automated underwriting system. So when we run it, we're seeing more opportunities to do that. And like I said, Fannie and Freddie have accepted, and FHA have accepted those types of appraisals now. So that's I think they're trying to do something to help the situation. They're seeing that, industry wide. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting out there. I mean, the same thing with showing properties. Like we've now it's a little, like I actually had a showing this last Saturday, and making sure that your clients are prepared. Like make sure that if they don't come with like gloves, like let me open the doors and things like that. And we have Clorox wipes, we have masks and things like that. So we're taking like different safety precautions on how we're doing it. But you'll be surprised by how many people are not wearing a mask or taking any safety precautions right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you decide to go do 30-day close, it's still very possible. I haven't changed my my standards on 30-day closes, and that's still required for us to be in business. And actually, it takes a lot of more risk away if we can try to close it in 30 days and trying to stretch it out to 45. Now, saying that, of course, you can't do that with any of the bond programs, but on a 30-day close, all you have to do is remember to get the appraisal ordered right away. Go into lease point. If you can clearly document that you cannot get an appraiser out there, Fannie and Freddie is actually loosening up their guidelines where you can actually do requests for an exterior appraisal, where an appraiser can just drive by. But appraisers are being picky. Now, if you have 100% appraisers out there appraising in this market, you're still going to be slow because all the refinance came through. Now, with COVID-19 impacting it, you're taking another probably 20 to 25% appraisers not willing to want to work right now. So that's, it takes, I mean, again, it comes down to capacity, and they're willing to charge more to do a property. So anything that has any type of uniqueness, if it's a larger home, they're gonna charge a lot more nowadays. But as far as turn times, if you're willing to do a 30-day close, just get the appraisal ordered right away. I mean, that's
what I always tell people. Even on a 45-day, because if you wait, you never know what's gonna change in a week. Like, I mean, I've had some recent closings where I'm like, especially when COVID and some of the first shelter in places were coming into place, we didn't know if they're just gonna make real estate non-essential. Like, I mean, I feel now that we're this far along that they're not going to change. Like, what they've closed down is what they're going to close down, right? Like, I don't think they're going to shut anything further down. Hopefully not. Like, knock on wood. Background, but I think it's a good idea just to like really try to do things as recommended, And so I always recommend, regardless, once you take loan app, order the appraisal. It's just like an inspection. It's a contingency. You shouldn't wait until 2-3 weeks in, because what do you see in turn times on average? 2 weeks on appraisals?
Yes. I mean, it's about 10 to 12 business days right now. Yeah.
Then if you get conditioned, which is always a chance, right? Then you just added another week or two on that.
We're seeing a lot more appraisers requiring smoke alarms in your bedrooms. So just FYI, get your smoke alarms in your bedrooms.
What if the house is built in 1960, when it was only common to have like maybe one smoke alarm in the central area?
Well, what I'm seeing on the appraisals are subject to smoke alarms per code. So I think the code states that you're supposed to have smoke alarms in your bedrooms now. So
They're really easy to install, Sean. I did them my own with a screwdriver.
I think it's like if
I can do it, anybody can do it. Just saying.
Something like electrical or something, they probably wouldn't call that out if it wasn't a grounded wire in an old house. But smoke alarms, like you said, Chris, are pretty easy.
Yeah.
So they're I'm seeing. I've just had, I think, 2 this last couple of weeks. Never had seen that before. So easy fix, but still, it can cause delays. You're right.
So with kind of switching gears again, just kind of throwing something fun. How do you feel about no sports going on right now?
Oh man, yeah, that's awful.
Tough for you? Like, for some people, it's like they don't even realize what's going on, but you don't realize. I don't know if there's going to be a baseball season.
Yeah, I was wondering. This is spring training should be going on right now, right? May, beginning of May is when the season normally starts, I think, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there's going to be a baseball season this year. Like, well, they talked about doing a modified season, and then they would just keep it like kind of like a spring training style, where they had like the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League, and they would just play out that way versus having a full-on season. Because I mean, basically already losing 1 month, there's no way that they're going to be able to play a second month. I don't think anybody's going to allow large gatherings. By May. So it's like there's no baseball. I mean, it's gonna get real if they start impacting football.
Yeah, it really is. Are we gonna be ready to go for the football season?
What they should do is they should create like video game leagues, right? So you can like watch people play professionally through video games.
Oh,
have the players
you can watch people play video games. It's called Twitch.
The NBA did that with their NBA 2K thing, and they had the players playing their own characters, I think, against each other or something.
Oh my gosh! And you know what, Christy? It is a thing. Like, go to YouTube.
I have a friend who's a gamer. She's a girl, and she does live streaming on Twitch. She makes money doing it.
No, I know, it's crazy. My middle son, that's what he would watch. He would watch people playing Fortnite, like
Minecraft. PewDiePie.
Yeah, Minecraft, Fortnite. It's the weirdest thing.
Yes.
ESPN had something.
Half the stuff on YouTube is weird.
ESPN had some tournament or something that they were doing. I can't remember that game, but it was some big old tournament.
Fortnite. Someone won a tournament for Fortnite. like won millions of dollars in that.
No, they're like sponsored. Like they have sponsored people, like sponsored video gamers making like legit money.
Playing
Like
video games.
the video game makers will make these video games, and then they find like, I mean, they're basically like finding a Tom Brady to help promote their video game by playing in these tournaments. Like that's how they promote their.
Colleges are actually giving scholarships or providing scholarships for gamers.
That's crazy. I feel like that's crazy. But you know, she's a single mom of 4 teenagers and she supports them with it. So it's
Wow.
like more power to you. She's obviously good. I don't know.
I'm in the wrong line of work. Holy shit, I want to do that.
She's up all night though, so I don't know. She streams in at nighttime, like nighttime, all night.
Like
long.
a side hustle, or is it?
Nope, that's her full-time gig. That's what she does. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. It helps that she's cute.
I'm screwed.
You could have had a future though. If you're dependent on it, then you'll do it. Well, cool. Well,
There's all kinds of makeup tutorials on YouTube, you know, could make you look completely different.
make you look like a girl, is what she's saying. One that could make some good YouTube money, streaming on YouTube.
So Sean, what do you
So-
see?
YouTubers make, I mean, subscribers.
What's going on in the real estate world?
In the real estate world, what I'm seeing in the real estate world right now is that there's still people buying, but I think that you're seeing that the sub 250 market's super tight, and it has been leading into this year. Like what I think this market's allowing for the buyer. So like if you're a buyer out there right now, I would say that you have a little bit more time to think about a property before it goes under contract. It's not always the case. I mean, I still hear brokers getting multiple offers. I had a listing that 2 weeks ago, we went on the market. We terminated within a few days because the financing changed and the people couldn't qualify based off a credit score. And then we went right back under contract like 2 days later. I think where you're going to see a little bit of stalling is that 300 to 500. I think you're going to see a little bit more delays on market, although there's still good borrowers out there. In Albuquerque, the one thing I explained to a lot of people is that the benefit of having a lot of government jobs is that they're very stable employers right now. And so like DOE, DOD, they're providing they have really good employment. So they're not going anywhere. And so that's who our bigger earners are in our marketplace. And so they're going to continue to buy. But like you were talking about, Mon, like as soon as you can start into jumbo, you don't see as many properties over 500,000 right now going under contract. I think that has probably been the most impacted part of our market. But again, our under contracts are only down like 5 to 8% depending on the week. But at the same time, the amount of homes that are coming on the market is also down. So we're not replacing our inventory. A lot of times, like in 2007 and 8, as that market was going, was shifting and going downward, inventory started going up, and we haven't seen that yet in the first 30 days. Real estate typically is pretty lagging. So really, I don't think we'll see the full impact until 6 months to 9 months from now. And that's kind of where we're seeing. So it's something that I'm going to make sure that everybody that's connected with me through social media or part of one of our past client databases or sphere of influence, we're going to make sure we get information out. I'm watching now instead of watching the market monthly and looking for what's happening, I'm looking at it weekly just because it's super volatile right now. Just like you guys are seeing in the mortgage world, it's just trying to get an understanding like what's the weekly trends. And for us, the leading indicators always is new listings and what that's going to do. But it's the ability to get a loan, right? I mean, if I said it going into the beginning of the year, this is the year to get the most out of your house for sale, the most equity out of your house. And if you're looking to trade up or trade down and you're going to take a mortgage with that, you're also get to lock in at the best rate. So you get to maximize your value, and you also get to get money for cheapest in history, right? Like these are like the second, third lowest interest rates in the history of mortgage rates. And with everything going on, it still kind of maintained itself that way. I think if you've thought about making a move this now, because a year from now, 3 years from now, I don't think you're gonna have both those scenarios play out in your interest. I think you're gonna see values possibly flatten out. Inventory is gonna jump up, which will also put a downward pressure on prices. Homes will sit on the market longer. People will negotiate you more, and rates will go up. So if you're gonna go buy, it's gonna cost you more money. Those are the things I've been really explaining to people. So if you have a stable job and you don't have any concern on your employment, and you've thought about buying a house, you thought about making an upgrade, this is a really good time to do it. Especially if your house is an entry-level home. So to me, anything under 250 in our marketplace is considered entry-level. And there's a lot of buyers you cannot find really good. I mean, good entry-level homes that are well-maintained are really very, very limited supply. So if you classify that and you thought about moving up, it's a great time.
Well, and I've also heard, because of COVID, and there's a lot of people there's a lot of people who still want to buy, but are on delay, or they're, being put off. Once everything opens up again and everybody's starting to work again, it's going to be flooded. The market's going to be flooded with buyers who are looking for homes, and we're still short on inventory. So, if you're able to buy now, it's important.
What I kind of see too. Go ahead, Mon.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, just to kind of piggyback on Chrissy, is that I think a lot of people have gotten comfortable with the fact of what's going on in the market, with COVID. Everybody's understands, the social distancing, all that, and everybody's gotten into the routines. But people also, if they've been looking at real estate, now they're just going back out and they're looking, but they're being very, very specific. So I tell my sellers, like, if somebody's going into your property right now, they're really serious. Like, they're not looky-loose. So it's a good reason to have your house up on the market. Because those are the serious buyers are out there looking, and they've been waiting. I mean, there's so many buyers that haven't purchased in the last 6 months because they haven't found the right property.
Right.
What were you gonna say, Mon?
Oh, just kind of the same deal. I was just kind of talking about if the economy does come back, I think it's going to be like kind of more of a hockey stick recovery type period. Because people are just on the sidelines right now. I mean, again, there's going to be a huge economic impact of what's going on because everyone's locked down. But once the economy opens up and people goes back to work, we don't know the negative impact of this virus. But if it does, if they find some sort of therapy drug, or there is some sort of anything, I guess, there will be some sort of strong recovery. Now, it can go the opposite way, of course, if there isn't any type of therapy drug, or we can't find an end to this. But I think I'm pretty optimistic that it is going to happen, that this is more of a short period of time. And not to say people are overreacting, but it can potentially be that. And not to say it is, but it can potentially be that we are overreacting. If that's the case, kind of going to Chrissy's point, you're going to see a huge recovery. I mean, there's going to be a lot more people list their homes again. The markets can come back, and I mean, we were really strong. Remember, we went from being really strong to a dead halt. I mean, mid-March, everybody was busy. And it went to kind of more to a dead halt, and then, of course, that created the interest rate wave that came through, and that's still creating some impact for buying opportunities, though.
Well, I mean, one thing that I definitely see out there is that a lot of going back to that hockey stick thing is, it's not like our market has halted. Like, it's slowed down. There's definitely some people that they can't buy, right? They're on furlough, they got laid off, and so it definitely did take some people out of the market. I mean, but it hasn't been as dramatic as you think. And then when we become unquarantined, whatever that term is going to be, when we go back and our economy starts to kind of move back forward, I do think you're going to see real estate not be. This is a very different type of start to a recession. This is very much, it's impacted everybody in the entire world. And that's something that is kind of crazy to think about, because there's never been an event like that, I think, where everybody's really been impacted by it. But I think in real estate in the United States, we are in such a shortage. In most markets, like if you talk to most brokers, most inventories are in their extreme lows that they've been at ever, or just extreme lows. And so it will literally take a year's worth of adding inventory to even get out of a seller's market. And so the impact, again, like I said, it could take 9 months to really understand if we are going to move towards a buyer's market. But moving into the market that we're in today, the stat I guess is like somewhere we're 2.5 million homes short of where we should be inventory wise, like in the United States. What is this going to have an impact on that inventory? Like, are builders going to build to the level that they need to build to? I don't know. And our homes going to be available. So that's why you see so many bigger unit type properties being built, because and if you look at cities like San Francisco, New York, affordable housing is a huge need. So I mean, kind of go off into a different tangent, but I think it's going to be a while before you see real estate slow. I think it's going to take a lot of potential buyers out of the marketplace, but ultimately, people need a place to live, and as long as financing is available, people will buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and I'm pretty optimistic. I think we're going to come out of this, and, we're going to come out of this strong. There's still, I think people have probably over the last few years taken a lot of things for granted. And I think that this is a big eye opener for a lot of people, and I think we're going to come out of it stronger, people a little bit more serious about the things that they want to do in their own lives. And one of the biggest things is, purchasing a home. And I think that our inventory is still low, like you said, and I don't think that's going to increase over the next, couple months to where all of a sudden we have enough houses for enough buyers. I think we're still going to have the same issue that we have coming out of this, where we have a lot more buyers than we do inventory, right? So I think we're going to come out of this pretty strong, and we're going to bounce back. A lot of times we don't follow kind of what happens around us for a little while. So we have a strong market here. We have a lot of, like you said, government jobs. San Diego was still hiring right before this. So I think you're right.
I think we really just started adding jobs to our local economy, a year ago, 18 months ago. And we're really late to the party, whereas most metro markets, that's the beautiful thing about Albuquerque, is that we always kind of lag. So looking at, Phoenix, Dallas, looking at those markets, if they continue to move forward in their real estate markets, if they continue to have job growth, I think Albuquerque is going to be okay. We're a little late to the party. Like, I felt like the market we were in February, March was what a lot of those markets were experiencing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I would talk to brokers in Arizona, California, Texas, or they'd be like, we are insane. And I'm like, well, we're busy, but we don't have 12 to 18 offers. And I think we started seeing that like end of last year and this year, we've really seen that crazy amount of offers rolling in. Like, I had a property back in February we made an offer on. We were one of 12 offers. And I hadn't experienced that really in a long time. I had, and so I think we started seeing more and more of that. And then with this kind of like shift, like it's allowed buyers the opportunity to see properties. Otherwise, that they would be, by the time they saw it, there was already a half dozen offers.
Yeah. Well, the other big thing is we don't have a whole lot of swings here. Our values don't go crazy upward or anything like that. We stay pretty stable in this market. And so I think that helps us when we're going through some of these hard times we're going through, now. We don't see it doesn't affect us nearly as much as maybe it does other bigger metropolitan areas that are surrounding us.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time. I said it's only a happy hour, not happy hours. So we're going to wrap it up a little bit. Just kind of finishing comments. What's your biggest takeaway? What have you learned from shelter in place, or what's going on with coronavirus? What's the one big takeaway that you hope that you don't forget about as you move forward? And I'll let you go first, Lee.
I guess maybe just not taking things for granted. I miss going out to eat. I miss doing some of the things that we used to do before, going to church, doing all that stuff, So just, I guess, not taking things for granted. At the same time, it's been nice to spend a little bit more time with the family, and, at home. But yeah, just not taking things for granted, the things that we have, the luxuries we have.
So what about you? What about you, Man?
I think I learned a lot about my staff. They're not very techy, so working from home is not really a good option.
So you're gonna boost up technology, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Having a team, it just I mean, I think everybody's used to working from home, especially in our industry, but our operations not. Our operations staff a lot of times don't work from home, and so just kind of keeping in the same line of work, it's been challenging trying to figure it out. Of course, when we operate a certain way for so long, trying to change that day-to-day routine, it's tough. I mean, like I said, my impact in my personal life, it's pretty much the same. I'm pretty boring, so go work, ride my bike home, and pretty much just crack the TV on and eat dinner and go to bed. And so it hasn't changed in that impact, but as far as work, it has changed a lot. I mean, trying to keep things rolling, especially with the type of volume we tend to do, it's a little challenging.
I bet. So learning so that's your big takeaway, is you want to make sure that you and your staff are able to be mobile.
Yeah. Well, we have to get a lot better, learning how to be better. Sure, so.
How about you, Christy? What's your big takeaway?
Well, I'm opposite. So I've been able to work from wherever, right? So I work from home a lot when I was doing independent transaction coordinating. So this isn't different for me, but being able to hang out with my friends and go into the office and chat with people, that's the hardest part for me because I'm very social. And so, knowing that, I can't, just not taking my friends for granted and the time I'm able to spend with them. So maybe making more time for them. Yeah.
Yeah. My big takeaway really is just to slow down. I mean, that's been the really nice thing, is I'm not rushing to go to work. I'm not rushing to get home. Not rushing to go to an appointment. Like, I mean, I still have some appointments, but because most people now are willing to do everything virtually. Like I've done anything from virtual open houses, virtual tours, to doing these Zoom meetings with clients. You're not in a rush. Like all that time you spend commuting in a car and stuff like that, you don't have that going on. And so that's my big takeaway, is like, we only create that ourselves. And that, if you just kind of, it's to slow down and appreciate that time. And so I really do like that extra time that we have, that because we're not, so caught up in all the busy work of real estate and the business that we're in. So that's kind of my big takeaway. So I appreciate you guys being here. People that are tuning in, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people that kind of rewatch us. We have Lee Smith and Mon Fong with Primary Residential Mortgage on. Guys truly are experts in what they do. If you want their info, you guys throw it in the comment section after we hang up, and that way people know how to reach you. Agent friends that chime in, or people looking to refinance, I would strongly recommend. These guys are awesome at what they do. I've worked with them both personally a number of times. I've always had really good experiences with them. So thanks guys for your time, and it was fun having a beer with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.